Men's Survival Guide to Women, and today we're going to do a quick chat about what to do if you forget the name of the woman you're talking to. It's kind of like a Seinfeld episode. What if you forget the name? So this is one of those problems that you don't really want to have happen, frequently. If you start making this mistake once or twice when you're talking to a woman, you hit it off, but you can't remember her name, it might be time to start paying more attention to what she's saying. Enough said. However, there are a lot of ways to dig yourself out of the little hole you may be in, and it really just depends on how creative you can get, like all things. The easiest way I've found, honestly, is if I can't quite recall the girl's name and I'm still talking to her, then it's going to be when I go to get her number to keep in contact with her to see her again, set up a date, whatever it may be, I'm going to say, hey, what's your name? No, I'm not going to say, hey, what's your name? Sorry. I'm going to say, hey, what's your number? And then you go, oh, and how do you spell your name? And even if it's a really, really ridiculous name like Rachel, there's probably 5 ways of spelling it, or if she's like, what, it's Emily. You're like, oh, I thought you said your name was Amelie earlier, right? There's a ways to spin it. Like, I've been thinking you were Amelie this whole time. So it's a really good way to not derail the conversation. Obviously, if you happen to be talking to a girl and she asks you point blank, wait, do you even remember my name? Is not good, but it's better to come back with, wait, do you remember mine? And push back that way. If she does remember yours and you don't remember hers, however, it's a good chance that you're done with that particular girl at that particular moment. Another thing you could do is, in the meantime, is give her a nickname until you can get to the point you get a number. I like to say, hey, I'm going to call you Coco, because you give that high maintenance Coco Chanel vibe. And that's really not cool, because I feel like if we were hanging out, I would have to be the high maintenance one. High relationship. My brain is not working today. I'd have to be the high maintenance one, I like all my girlfriends to give me back rubs. That kind of thing. And if you've already got her number or contact details, the thing then would be to say, hey, let me add you to Facebook. What name are you on Facebook under? Because Facebook usually needs a first and last full name. In some cases, you could use an email address. If the name is really common, you might want to play around with that. Or you might just want to say, hey, add me to Facebook, and send her a link to your profile because, she has a phone. And what with Facebook Messenger being so popular these days, it's pretty easy to go ahead and do that kind of thing. So any of these will work to get the name. However, I really advise you try and remember the name when she tells it to you. Whether you have to use some kind of memory device like, oh, she kind of looks like Demi Moore, her name begins with a D, her name is Debbie, that kind of thing will work, and has worked for me many, many times. In fact, I know I was having trouble remembering, I'm not going to go into that story, forget that. But anyway, the point is, try to remember the name. Definitely, if you don't, go for one of these methods. And then the other thing that's really important is you might meet several girls called Sarah or Stephanie or, Charlotte, whatever it may be. So it's really good if you're meeting multiple women because you're single and you're trying to find, someone you're most compatible with. It's a really good idea to go ahead and maybe write in your phone a little note about where you met them, because there would be nothing worse than receiving text from 2 different Sarahs and you having no context for which one is which. It's going to be one of those things where you're just like, hey, you. Awkward. So try to avoid that. And, you will be doing a lot better in life. Plus, how hard is it to remember a name, really? Really? Unless it's, unless it's a name from another country that is just really not popular here, in which case you can probably think of a funny name that sounds like it. It's a cool one, for fun, to banter. Well, that's it for today, guys. Hopefully this was somewhat useful to you despite my mental fog of not being able to speak the English language correctly. Thank you so much for listening to Men's Survival Guide to Women. I'm your host, David Crowther. If you have a question you'd like us to answer on this very podcast, go ahead, shoot me an email, dave@survivewomen.com. You can also check out past episodes at survivewomen.com. We've got some really cool old school episodes. You can't find them on iTunes anymore, but you can find them on the website. And have fun out there.